Good evening. This video is for AP Calculus. It is the last video in section 2.3. So far, we have talked about the product rule and the quotient rule, and also the derivatives of the other four trig functions. And now we're just finishing it up talking about the higher order derivatives, which just means finding the second derivative or third derivative, which is just the second derivative is just the derivative of the first derivative, etc. So some notation things just need to be aware of. So here is the notation you need to know. First derivative is y prime or f prime of x or dy dx. You know all that already. Second derivative, the notation, most common notation is y double prime or f double prime of x. I'm going to put a line here. My boundaries are a little funky. But that notation at the end there, that the second derivative is d squared y over dx squared. There's a reason for that particular why the squares are where they are, but I'm forgetting it off the top of my head. But there it is. If it asks you to find d squared y over dx squared, that's the second derivative. And then the third derivative is either y triple prime or f triple prime or x or d cubed y over dx cubed. After that, use like just a numeral 4 or 5 or 6, not a bunch of prime or little tally marks. You won't do much past the third derivative, rarely past the second derivative. So for a function, you have to now be able to not only find its derivative, but find the derivative of the derivative. And of course, the context where that matters to us most is back to my particle motion, either vertical motion or along the x-axis. And we kind of discussed this briefly, but here it is officially. If I know a position function, we already know that the velocity is the rate of change of position. That's s prime of t. Well, the acceleration is the rate of change of the velocity. And the derivative of the velocity would be the second derivative of the position function. So you must know that relationship. If I start with the position function, its derivative is the velocity function, and its derivative is the acceleration function. And a couple of your homework problems ask a little bit about that. That's it for the notes. Your assignment has a handful where you're finding the second derivative or third derivative or fourth derivative. And then there are some acceleration problems. And then there's some really good problems here that might confuse you at first. But we need to, I think this concept came up ever so briefly at one point in the past. But now we're talking about, if I give you a couple graphs of a function and its derivative and its second derivative, can you identify which one is which? Ultimately, you're going to be given a graph and be asked to sketch its derivative or its second derivative. I think for today, there you are. For some of these, it gives you 3 graphs. You have to figure out which one is which. And for some, it gives you the graph of f, and it asks for the graph of f prime and f double prime. So this is a really important homework assignment. I'm going to do the odd ones as a video, or just do the answer key of the odd ones and post them, except for the last set, which are some true false ones. I'm going to leave those alone for a moment, let you try those. So your assignment here, and actually I need to add the last section, which is 131 to 134. So here's the assignment. I'm going to add a couple problems here. So 95 to 122, and then also do 131 to 134. The last 4 problems are true false questions. The first set are either second derivatives, third derivatives, or a couple acceleration problems, and then just sketching a derivative from a function. So a lot going on here, despite it being a short video. Like I said, I will post the odd answers shortly. It's now, I'm not sure what date it is. It's Monday night. I will make this due at the end of the day on Wednesday, but I'm going to start either tomorrow or Wednesday, moving on to the next section, which is 2.4. So please make sure you're keeping up. And then just a reminder, if you have not yet officially joined the Google class, the AP class, that's just how they get your test materials to you in the spring. Please know that's not optional. Some of you have done it, some of you haven't yet. We need you to get that done this week, but really there's really no option there. So please do that if you haven't. Reach out to me or Ms. Summers if you have any questions about that. Thank you.